Hi, and welcome to A1 Art Psychic Radio. Wherever you are today, thank you so much for tuning in and your energy. I am Nay from Intuitive Readings. I'm a psychic and medium, and I help people find peace and purpose, connecting them with their loved ones that have crossed over by delivering messages and by empowering people to bring positive change into their lives. And today I thought it might be nice to do a little bit around tarot cards. I often use tarot cards in these programs, so I thought I'll talk to you about how you can use them at home yourselves. So it is a fascinating world, oracle and tarot cards, or cartomancy as they call it generally. And what we can do when we're first starting is actually read the cards in a sort of a unique way to help us get started. So you don't need to be sort of a scholar in this area. You don't need to memorize the Hermetic alphabet or study astrology to use the tools. In fact, you just use your intuition. And so I thought that it might be nice to explore that today. So there are different types of cards you can use. Obviously, I've mentioned Oracle, and I think Tarot is quite a popular one as well that you may have heard of. But there's also, angel cards, numerology cards, and you can also, just pick up a general deck of cards at home and write some words on it. Okay, so you don't need to necessarily buy a new deck. You can explore cards in various ways. So the difference between these different sets, though, so we have the tarot cards is probably the more popular, and it has a very sort of a traditional story, tarot, and it has a set structure. So there are 78 cards to a tarot deck, split between the major and minor arcana. Major representing sort of the major areas and changes in your life, whereas minor more so day-to-day decisions and day-to-day interactions. And then we have the oracle cards, which also, there's a number of angel cards, affirmations. They might have pictures of, cats eating pizza, nachos. There's so many different types of oracle cards to explore as well, all with really deep and meaningful messages and that speak to different readers on different levels. So again, we don't need to worry about reading the guidebooks or learning how to do tarot in a strict sense. What we're going to focus on is really just that intuition, applying your intuition and working out what resonates with you when you're reading those cards. So again, just tapping into that inner guidance rather than relying on a rigid textbook meaning. And then what you can do is, as soon as something pops into your mind about what this card means, you just apply that. So it's the first thing that comes to your mind. So the perfect example might be when you look at the tarot deck and the Fool in a traditional tarot deck. It just has a gentleman who's sort of holding a rose, and he has his bag over his shoulder, and he's walking sort of dangerously close to a cliffside. And as he's walking, like, he's just got no care in the world, and he's walking in a really nonchalantly way, just really close, dangerously close to the edge of this cliff. So imagining like this imagery on the card, it really does invoke different memories and life experiences for different people. So one person might think, that really reminds me or brings me back to my youth or my school years, making risky or poor decisions. Whereas another reader might be reminded of, a visit to, the Grand Canyon and feelings of being an explorer and exploring something for the very first time. So you can see there that, two different readers can read this card in a very different way. So neither interpretation is wrong. Whatever you pick up when you look at a card is exactly what Spirit wants you to pick up in that reading. So there is absolutely no wrong answer in this space at all. So to get started with a reading, what you do is you will just take a deck, and as I said before, tarot, oracle, or even general playing card deck, and what you can do first is actually give it a big thump to make sure that you've cleared the energy. It's really important to put energy into the cards, and then that way you'll get more accurate readings. So I tend to shuffle for extended periods of time. Other readers I know will actually hold individual cards and sort of feel all the cards and go through the whole deck like that. But I tend to just give it a big thump, okay? And then once you've done that, and you're in a quiet you're in a quiet space, then it's time to ask a question. Preferably not a yes or no type question, because I suppose in my experience, cards aren't particularly good at answering yes no type questions, but you might ask more open questions. So for instance, you wouldn't ask something like, will I stay in this relationship? But you might ask something like, should I stay in this relationship? Or if I stay in this relationship, what might the energy around that look like? Okay. And then you draw a card from there. In this particular example, I've actually, for anyone listening at home, I've just drawn the Three of Swords, which visually just shows a heart with the Three of Swords piercing it. So this would indicate to me that if I stayed in this relationship, the energy, it's not great, okay? But I'm now armed with this information to make changes and make positive change, okay? So energy is malleable, it does change. Just because you've done a reading now and it's shown this card, it does not mean the energy is going to look like this tomorrow or this will be the outcome. And in fact, that's why we do tarot and why we read cards, is so that we can make these changes, because we can identify early what energy is going to look like or likely to look like, and then we can redirect, okay, make different changes. I might choose now to see a guidance counsellor or to speak to friends and family about my situation, okay? So it can be really helpful tool in that respect in your everyday life. So one of the biggest hurdles around reading cards as well is the fear of getting it wrong. But here's the truth. There is no wrong way to interpret a card, really. So everyone's intuition is unique to them, and it's really your perspective. So each reading is a personal experience, and the more you practice, the more confident you become. It is an excellent divination tool, and it can really help strengthen your intuition. So I would challenge you this week to grab a deck of cards, if Oracle, Tarot, Angel, or regular playing cards, whatever the case may be, whatever connects with you and interests you, and have a go. And if this is something that interests you, connect with me on Facebook, and I'd be happy to direct you to some free resources. So I might just jump to a caller. We have Evelyn in Mississippi. Hi, Evelyn. How are you? Hello, Evelyn. Just while we're waiting for Evelyn, I might just let you know that if you are interested in tarot or exploring cards more deeply, there are some excellent resources available online as well. Facebook has been a wealth of knowledge for me and other lifelong students of tarot as well. There are a number of free pages and opportunities to learn. So I do encourage you to check those out. Hi, Evelyn. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you. What can I do for you today? Do you have a question?
Yes. I just said, when you go through things, you keep repeating the cycle till you learn the lesson. In the last relationship I was in, it just turned out like all the rest of them. It's like you find people that, I guess going through things, and you hang in there with them and encourage them and seem like things are going good. And then once they think that things are, I guess, have gotten better for them, then they switch up and go to someone else.
Right.
And you're feeling at a loss as to why that happened.
Yeah, let me look into that. I've just done a little session for the listeners at home on tarot, so I'm actually going to draw a card with you now. And what I'm going to ask around your energy is what you can do to avoid this situation again.
Thanks.
Okay, and so what they are showing me here is the Three of Cups, which I'm not sure if you're watching or listening, but it is three women celebrating, holding up three cups. And this is generally, to me, this is a celebratory card. And it's almost as though, and what Spirit's actually telling me, it's almost as though the people that you have been dating, it's the same type of people. And it's almost as though you do need to sort of consider whether or not the people that you are attracting and the people that you do tend to date are sort of in the same space in their life, because I do feel as though there are a number of similarities, not just around how the relationship has evolved, but more so around similarities in, how they may look or how they may act, and the type of personalities they have as well. So Spirit is inviting you to consider opening yourself up to exploring different types of personalities and different people as well. But I also do get a celebration coming in for you around this as well. So I almost feel as though this is a bit of a penny drop moment for you, because you kind of reflect on this and think, okay, well, this is something that resonates with me, and it does actually improve from here. In terms of your future energy, generally, I'm just going to pull another card to see what that's looking like and what you're attracting there. Okay, so, and I do see the Queen of Pentacles energy here as well. So Pentacles can relate to the economy and money, more the energy of money. And I feel in this sense that it may relate to the energy of money. So I do wonder if the person that you do invite in, there is some sort of, I don't want to say a blockage with money, but there is some sort of issue with money there. And perhaps it is that is what you have been inviting in the past, and that's why it's sort of sitting in your current energy and future potential energy. But perhaps give that some thought around what it is that all of these gentlemen or people may have in common that have been coming into your life, and I suppose how it is that you're going to be able to invite those new experiences with new people. Okay.
Right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All the best. Thank you so much. So that concludes the show today, but stay tuned for some more amazing light workers. If you did enjoy the show or wish to learn more about tarot, please do connect with me on Facebook at Nay Mary Intuitive Readings. It has been my absolute pleasure to connect with you all. Thank you.